So we all know slideshows are killer for LinkedIn engagement, right? 7 times more engagement, 30% more reach, all that good stuff. But here's what has changed in 2025. LinkedIn quietly updated how they measure carousel success. And that leads to a change in what types of carousels actually work now. If you're still making your carousels the 2024 way, pure educational lists, frameworks, or God forbid, you just upload white papers, you are probably watching your reach tank without knowing why. So let me show you exactly what's different. So here is what's happening under the hood. And this comes once again straight from Richard van der Blom's algorithm report. Basically, LinkedIn now tracks a consumption rate. So they don't just measure how long you dwell on a slideshow, but also how much of it you actually read, how much of it you consume and complete. Let's take a look at this data here quickly. If your document drops below 35 average slide consumption, expect an 80% visibility penalty. Meaning, if people view less than a third of your slideshow, you're basically doomed with your slideshow. Obviously, this has an interesting impact on the ideal length of your slideshow. Just quickly check that table down here. 0 to 5 slides, probably too short, and it will impact the dwell time negatively. 10 to 20 slides, already too long, and most likely you will not get the completion rate. So the sweet spot really is somewhere between 5 and 12 or 8 and 12 slides. Richard van der Blom here says 9.2 is the ideal length. But I think more important than the number is to understand the why, and that is you want it long enough for people to stay and dwell on your post. And you want it short enough for people to actually have a chance to finish the slideshow before they get bored. So please never just upload any white papers like it's 2020. And even your here 7 tips and my 12 best type of slideshows are feeling this new consumption rate. Let me explain how this works. So let's look at what this actually means in a bit more detail. We have the dwell time and the consumption rate as two forces rating our post on how good and successful this is. And this is especially important for videos and carousels, right? Where there's actually things that can be consumed over a certain amount of time or a certain amount of slides. If we just go by dwell time, we want them to linger as long as possible, right? So from there, thinking a 20, 30, 40 slide slideshow was good. And it used to work. But with the consumption rate, it doesn't, because who ever finishes a monster slideshow like this? And you want the majority to finish at least 30%. Right? So if you have 9 slides, that's 3 slides. Most people will do that. And now here comes the kicker. So obviously with this unoptimized, just upload your white papers absolutely doesn't work anymore. What's also seeing hits is educational stuff. So, my 7 tips on how to stay productive while traveling used to work super well in 2024. And it doesn't work all that well anymore in 2025. I do not believe that it's a direct effect of the consumption rate of that new measure. It is a combination of having that and people being bored of these lists, right? They have been used a ton and maybe have been overused a lot. So I'm not saying don't do these. They still can work. It depends on your niche and how special you make these. But if you have 7 generic tips, chances are it's not gonna fly. The best shot that you have today in 2025 is to edutain, if that's even a thing. So to educate but tell a story. So instead of my 7 tips to do X is my 50K ignorance tax that I had to pay learning X. It can be the same 7 tips. You just wrap it in a story and you present it in a story. And what you will do with that is you heighten the chance for people to actually finish the slideshow because they want to learn the end of your story. This is why this is powerful, and this is why that will work. If you have a great hook and your second slide immediately emphasizes and amplifies the pain or the excitement or the thrill or whatever, and then, classic story arc, you find a resolution eventually, a small hero journey maybe, people will read through it. So let me give you a few more examples to make this more clear. Instead of creating a slideshow with the 21 career mistakes, you create a slideshow, my career mistake that cost me. Instead of 15 LinkedIn tips, you make it the LinkedIn message that changed my business. Instead of a guide to B2B sales is how I closed my first $1 million deal. You make it specific, ideally about your own experience, your own story that you've lived through, that you can tell. You can talk about the same stuff, but you just create a story for it. Now, if you do this well, this will be killer for your engagement and your slideshows and your reach. And I'm going to show you the exact framework that you can use to build these very, very easily. Right, so how do you build carousels to cater to both, right? Dwell time, consumption rate. How do you actually build that story structure? Let me show you how we do it in ContentIn, because our feature is exactly built on this insight. Obviously, you can use Canva or whatever to do the same thing, but it's just going to be a bit easier. So I have a post here that's fairly standard. Most creators struggle to generate consistent content. It's got a 3-step framework, step 1, step 2, step 3. What's stopping you from posting consistently, and a call to action. So what I would do in ContentIn is just click on the media tab, add media, go to the carousel and generate one from post. So now the AI will read our post and generate a slideshow, a story-based slideshow for us in a couple of seconds. And here we go. It generated 7 slides for us, probably because we have like 3 steps. If you have a 4th step, for example, this would already be 8. You can always add new slides to it as you see fit, and obviously read through that and tweak it a little bit. But it will already be cool to show you the story structure. Same as with the post. The first slide with your hook is the most important. You want to draw people in, and you want to make them actually start swiping in the first place. Those little arrows in the bottom right are also very, very helpful for that. Unlock consistent content creation, why most creators struggle and how the top 1% never run out of ideas. The real problem. Now we agitate the problem. It's a lack of system. It's not a lack of ideas, right? Creativity isn't the issue. Waiting for inspiration leaves you posting once a week, not daily. And then basically here comes the resolution. Here's where we are teaching. Capture everything, sort by relevance, create attention-grabbing hooks. This is straight out of the post content. And then we give a result, like why this is good and what we can expect for it, why this is better. And then also a call to action to actually make this work. You can easily, tweak all of this. If you don't like emojis, just take them out. Change the content. You can change your theme. You can use your custom colors. You can also upload background images. You can basically define the whole thing. The whole idea here is to make it as painless and as quick as possible to generate these story-driven inside slideshows for you. Once you're happy with your result, I don't really like the emojis myself. Just click on attach to post and it will take a few seconds. And now we will have the post ready with the slideshow in the preview. Now, you might be thinking, this is boring, there's no images in that. Actually, text-driven slideshows work a lot better on mobile. People tend to consume the content rather by swiping through than by actually reading your full post above. So keep that in mind when you generate those. And also there is the option to add images here. You could replace like any of the text or add an image below the text or whatever. This is totally up to you. So the whole idea here with this designer is to produce these slideshows ideally for your best performing posts with a couple of clicks. Like this is a superpower. If you have a post that already worked quite well, duplicate it, rewrite the copy slightly, maybe change the hook and create a slideshow from that post and see your engagement soar because of it. It doesn't get any easier than this, really. So here's your task. Really simple. Go through your analytics, find your best performing educational post from the last couple of months, duplicate it, rewrite the hook, and create a story-driven personal slideshow from it. Start with your specific moment of struggle or discovery, share your actual results, and extract universal principles from it. Start with the problem, agitate the problem, teach your learning the solution, and show the results that you've yielded from it. Then the call to action in the last slide. That is the framework. Keep it to around 9 slides max and make sure the first slide is punchy. Make sure the hook is good, maybe add an image if it helps, but that one is obviously the most crucial to teaser the curiosity of the reader and to make them start, slide, and read the story in the first place. And please stop uploading those 30-page white papers or those ultra long slideshows. Nobody's got time for this. People want to be educated on LinkedIn. They are on LinkedIn to be educated, but they also want the story, the entertainment, because there's so much out there that pure facts do not cut it anymore. Let me show you one more trick based on a nice feature that we've just added to make this a true superpower. We'll dive into this deeper next week, but as a quick teaser, we have this new inspiration board here with just the best posts from the best people. Obviously, this becomes an amazing superpower. Stop waiting for the perfect idea. Kind of like a similar topic from Chris Donnelly. We can rewrite this in our style. So it now takes Chris's post, rewrites it in our style. And now we can take that and create a slideshow for it. Let's see how that turns out. And here we go. Now, what do you think of that? 8 slides, perfect sweet spot. And in a couple of clicks, we've generated a really, really cool post based on something we know has worked before. Beauty. All right, guys, that's it for this week. If you want to handle this yourself, try with, GPT and Canva and something and build these for yourself. If you want to take the pain out of this, try ContentIn 14-day free trial, and you can generate these amazing slideshows with a single click. See you next week.